I'm not switching my team to some fancy work platform that somehow knows exactly how we work. And its AI features are literally saving us hours every day. We're big fans. And just like that, teams all around the world are falling for Monday.com. With intuitive design, seamless AI capabilities, and custom workflows, it's the work platform your team will instantly click with. Head to Monday.com, the first work platform you'll love to use.
Welcome to the RuPaul's Drag Race recap show for All Stars 10, episode 11, titled Tournament of All Stars Talent Invitational. My name's Joe Batanz, and I am joined, as always, by our very own talented co-host from the podcast Pod is my co-pilot. Please say...
I'm amazing. I'm so grateful. It's amazing to be here.
To Mr. Taylor, the Latte Boy. Hello, Taylor.
Joseph, how are we doing?
I'm doing well. In fact, you know this. You know this because over on Just Between Us Girls, you and I had a very lengthy conversation about being old, really.
Really? It was about being old.
Sleep problems, stomach problems. I feel we talked about something else.
Turning 50, being the old guy at work.
Oh, no, I talked about some other things that I can't even say publicly on here. We did actually have a conversation about some stuff that wasn't being old. Yeah. And you can hear over all that on over on Just Between Us Girls over at patreon.com/afterthought media, or go on the Patreon app. Once again, I highly encourage you to just sign up. If you just want to check it out, sign up for the free thing over the free membership over it. I'm so done.
That thing
Taylor.
at the place with the guy, just do that. Just do that.
The thing, just do it. Just become a free member. Hundreds of hours of content. And once the show ends, it gives me more time to actually devote to even improving that experience. So do that. And once again, if you're an Apple Podcast and you want to hear Just Between Us Girls and you want the show uncut, unfiltered, just the way everyone at Patreon gets. You can do that for like $6.45 over at Apple. Just scroll up to the main page. It's all right there. All right, this week, the 8 remaining queens take part in the reading challenge. Oh, did you hear before I do this?
What?
Okay, this is stories like over a year old. All right?
Okay.
But it comes back now. Is like over a year ago, my ad agency was like, hey, we want to do some promo swaps with some other podcasts. Can you record a promo swap? And I don't remember. This was so long ago. I have no idea why I didn't want to do it. I think I have an inkling, but I didn't want to do it. Okay. So
something in the back of your head said no.
Something in the back of my head said no. But I think what it was, let me tell you what my inkling idea is. I think it was because they were going to put me on other gay podcasts. I was like, well, my voice doesn't come off as super gay. Who do I know that sounds super gay? So at first what I did was AI Christian.
Okay.
But my ad agency did not like it at all. So then I actually went to Christian's
So they've heard
place.
Christian in real life.
Yeah. I went to Christian's place and recorded him. I recorded him doing it.
Okay.
So a couple days ago, Christian text me. He's like, bitch, why would I listen to a podcast and I just heard my own voice promoting your show? And I was like, and the show was sloppy seconds, and other afterthoughts have weighed in that they heard it, right?
Okay.
And it makes sense now. So I'm thinking that the network that has Mom on it, because I think Mom belongs to a bigger network. I think they're using our ad agency now because we got a promo swap request with Courtney's new podcast.
Okay.
And they approved it. So now I'm thinking I want to re-record that promo. But so if you're listening to sloppy seconds or I don't know, whatever, maybe if you might hear more and more over the ads for us over there.
Well,
all right,
welcome. If you've never heard us before.
They found us over there. Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome. And
we're thirsty thirds. This week, the 8 remaining queens take part in the reading challenge and participate in a talent show. On the runway, the category was foiled again, and we saw the queens dressed in shiny metallic outfits. Bosco was named the winner of the challenge, while Mistress Isabelle Brooks and Lydia B. Collins were in the bottom 2. In the end, Lydia B. Collins was told, Shantae, you stay, while Mistress Isabelle Brooks was asked to sashay away. Taylor the Latte Boy, and before I even ask this, I know there was a whole part with the drawing and the other person. I didn't want to put it here. We'll talk about it later. Taylor the Latte Boy were the right 2 queens in the bottom, and the right queen get eliminated.
The drawing, you mean at the very end?
The very end, but I didn't put it in.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
I think that honestly, okay, so the person who won, that's what you just asked me? Sorry.
Yeah, Bosco. Well, let's talk
Bosco.
about, did Bosco deserve to win, and did
Yes.
Lydia deserve to win that lip sync?
I think Bosco deserved. Bosco, there was a couple of them that I think could have been up for the win. I think Ginger could have been up for the win, especially the way they were talking her up. But I also know from an optics standpoint that she would win for 5 in a row. That would not be great. Or she would have been in the top 5 in a row. But Bosco's was fun. It was irreverent. She looked great doing it, and it showed off a wealth of talent. And so absolutely, I think so. As far as Lydia winning the lip sync, I think that could have gone either way because they were both horrible lip syncs. I think that was just that I love that song. That's a great workout song. And there was some debate in the pool last night as to whether or not it was a good lip sync song or not. Mm-hmm. And I think it could be. And they were just both. It was so generic, so bland. There were definitely times Mistress didn't know the words or her mouth was not matching up with. She did the age old last week. She did the weird jaw thing and everybody thought it was great. So she tried to do it again this week. Mm-hmm. It really was a piss poor lip sync as far as I'm concerned. What about you?
Yeah. Obviously I'll talk about the talent show and people know how I generally feel about these talent shows lately. But Bosco, yeah, that was my controversial, talent show takes have nothing to do with the winners or anything like that. So yeah, it was if you're gonna be doing one of those kinds of tracks, hers was different, and I think she deserved to win. The lip sync. I don't know this song because I'm old, and it didn't seem like a good lip sync song. It didn't seem like it had that. Like, in other words, and when I say good lip sync song, everybody, I don't mean. It's not a judgment about whether I like the song or not. I actually think the song Who's Zooming Who is kind of corny, you know? But I think it's a great lip sync song. I actually went and listened to the original afterwards.
Oh, the original is so much better than that a cappella version.
Yeah.
They did.
And I was like, God, I'm even surprised it hasn't been a lip sync song. And yeah, so that's a song that I may not be a favorite of mine, but I think is a fantastic lip sync song. And so this is not a judgment on this song. It's just not a good song for a lip sync for your life. And that's even another category. There could be songs that are good. You're performing in a club lip sync songs, but they're not good for a lip sync for your life. And I think very specifically, this is not a judgment on this song. This song is not a good song for a lip sync for your life. So I think we're ready there with a thing. One of the things I wrote down was what we saw. I actually did think Lydia I didn't think she was good necessarily, but she was better than Mistress. I think it was a very clear winner. Because what we saw, especially with this kind of song, what we saw was the proof of my whole hypothesis last week that Mistress and Ginger have lost weight, but it's moved them into a new bracket that they're not necessarily prepared for.
Okay.
And so this is a song specifically that's kind of a sexy song, sultry. And that's Lydia's going to win that. Well, I shouldn't say she's for sure going to win it, but she's going to have a clear advantage being a tiny little sultry twink over a person who, and I know Mistress has lost more weight, but she's on one part of her journey. And so it's just not a perfect song for a bigger girl.
Yeah.
You know? So she was at a disadvantage. Not that she couldn't have done it, but again, doesn't have the practice for being at that weight. I think it's a whole different ball game. And you and I both know that, I don't know if you know this, but I have talked about this on shows before, but I don't know if you and I have ever talked about this. Years ago, I lost a tremendous amount of weight. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it was one of the things that I wasn't prepared for it was horrifying, actually, that I found out. Because, when you're fat, no one ever talks about your body. And then when you lose a lot of weight, all people want to do is talk about your body. And for someone who's used to hiding their body, that's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful, And so, it takes practice and therapy to get used to that. And I think with Mistress, she's not used to having this body, a body that's even temporary. She doesn't have that body anymore, And so you don't know how to just work that body. And so, yeah, I mean, Lydia was much better, but she had an advantage. There we go. I also do think, and I'm going to sound very Tato the Latte Boy, Nathan Patrick Brown, multinational media corporation, World of Wonder is evil, is I do think there's a part where Mistress was being quote unquote punished. And we'll talk, I don't know if we'll see, here's the funny thing. Maybe this will come up later, maybe it won't. But I think a lot of Mistress's bad behavior that we are going to talk about at length was because she realized, oh, this is in the bag for Ginger.
Yeah.
Because I also saw in between last week's episode and this week's episode, the queens were going in to this with the assumption that this bracket or these semifinals would work under old All-Stars rules where there would be a lipstick. And I think that's why Mistress went in playing that game the way she did.
Okay.
And then she goes in this episode. I mean, look at all the different things that happen. Boom, she's punched in the stomach that it's not the whole, like, they're voting for someone lipstick thing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
2, she finds out there's going to be an elimination. That's a corollary for 1. But then 2, she thinks she did well enough that she wouldn't be in the bottom. Now she's in the bottom too.
Mm.
And yeah, just those 2 things. I think she was just that she wasn't the funniest, that she wasn't this, that she wasn't that. And I think psychologically, I think she was like, and then Ginger wins. And she already knows, they all talk. So she knows how Ginger won every bracket thing. Now Ginger shows up here and wins this. And she's like, oh, this is in the bag for Ginger.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm done. I'm fucking done. And so I think multinational mega media corporation, World of Wonder, was like, then now you're punished because you made it known. You made it obvious. You became a sour, not even that she was like exposing anything, but if you're not going to play the game and if you're going to be a sourpuss, then there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of getting slightly ahead, but you watch her brain unravel after the elimination. Yeah. You just watch her go to, you can see the thoughts in her head.
Yeah. So why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break? When we come back, we're going to hear your big takeaway from this episode. Your big takeaway from this episode. We'll do that when we come back right after this.
On average, you'll have to wait 31 days to see an OBGYN. And if you're dealing with an infection or outbreak, you know you need care fast. That's where Wisp comes in. Connect with a U.S. licensed provider online and pick up safe, effective treatment at your local pharmacy that same day. Plus, get birth control and more delivered in all 50 states. Take control with comprehensive sexual and reproductive care, all from your phone. Wisp. That's HelloWisp.com. The waiting room can wait.
What does every USAA member have in common? Family. We're one big family who supports the military community and their eligible families. And if you, your parent, or spouse served, you could join our family and save big on auto insurance. Visit USAA.com/join today to check your eligibility. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
The McDonald's Snack Wrap is back. You brought it back. Ranch Snack Wrap. Spicy Snack Wrap. You broke the internet for a snack. Snack Wrap is back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
And we are back. All right, Taylor, you have some a big takeaway here?
My big takeaway, and I am assuming things for next week's episode, it's all pointless. Why we bullshitting? Why we bullshitting? Because I think that they went through this of where at the end, when Mistress was eliminated, everybody in the pool cheered.
Okay.
When she was eliminated. And then they pull the riggery that they pulled at the end. And I would be shocked if Carrie is the one that comes walking back in next week. So why bother? Why bother doing that?
I really don't know who it is.
No, I don't know either. But the fact that they made it that it's basically she's 33% of the ball, 1/3 of the balls that are in there versus somebody that's got 2 of them in there. I just think that it's in the bag. Plus, they also know between Mistress and Carrie, Mistress makes better television. So I truly think that, like, what was the point of that? That was like this like little 2-minute cock tease of that we all got to see her walk, and only to assume. Now, I could be completely wrong next week. I will eat my words if I am, but it just was very frustrating at the end. Like, you just went to this, like, it's almost like the opposing team scored a touchdown in the last three seconds of the game, sort of thing. And then you
let's talk about what's happening for people who don't watch the show, and we'll just talk about it here. And the reason I'm talking about it here is it is part having to make a better show, but also, like, I just know by the time we get there, I'm like, I don't want to fucking talk about this, right?
Okay.
So let's just talk about it here. So after the girls, that we have the winner and Mistress gets eliminated and she goes home and she walks off and all that. Then Angeria Paris Van Michels comes out and she reveals who the judges voted for. There's only 3 judges who voted, Michelle, Ross, and TS, because they were the only judges that saw the queens from all 3 brackets. And each one got to pick a queen that they were putting forward to participate in the lip sync for your life extravaganza, eleganza, whatever. And so TS picked Carrie Colby and Michelle picked Carrie Colby, and then Ross Matthews, who wasn't there, and so seemingly wouldn't know that Mistress was eliminated.
That is my question. That was my question in the pool last night. Go ahead.
Picked Mistress Isabelle Brooks. Mm-hmm. It's weird, right?
It's a very weird, convenient
I couldn't think, why
selection.
did you have Michelle pick Mistress Isabelle Brooks? Because she's there. She's
there,
right
and she
there.
seemed like tearing up when Mistress left. Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
They just show. They don't care.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is none of this makes sense, and it is all about mind fucking the viewers.
So then they put the 3 balls in one of those like bingo baskets, and Bruno pulls a ball and shows it, but we don't see it. And RuPaul and everybody goes, ah, as they scream, and then they make a phone call, and that's all we get, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now go on.
No, that's I just think that one, when it was the first, as soon as they opened the card, because that was the first one, was Ross's, and it said Mistress Isabelle Brooks. And I went, well, she's back. That's a guarantee now at this point. And though we were all thinking like, well, why isn't Denali coming back? Because of the, the long hair sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that it's going to be very frustrating, but similar to what we were talking about before, they're not going to bring her back and then have her go all the way to the end.
No, she's not going to win.
No.
So that's your big takeaway. Oh, okay.
That's my big takeaway is that I'm just sort of frustrated at this point.
My big takeaway. Now, obviously, people are like, "Well, one of our big takeaways be about Mistress Isabelle Brooks' behavior." We're gonna talk about that. So that's not gonna be my big takeaway. I want to do my big takeaway here, and let's just get it out of the way, and then that way, when we can sail through the show much easier.
Okay.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. Just don't call it a talent show. Just don't call it a talent show. Just call it, I don't think they're called that. I think bitch track is when you're like going after people, right? So whatever these self-aggrandizing tracks are called, right? Just call it the Tournament of All-Stars Self-Aggrandizing Songs competition, right?
Well, technically, they didn't call it a talent show this time. It was
they called it Talent Invitational. Yeah.
Oh, was it Talent Invitational? Okay.
Talent Invitational. Just call it something else, right? Because let's be honest, no one's doing a talent show. They're all doing now, like, my name's Joe, and and all these other bitches better sit down, and just like that, right?
Come
That's
on,
all they're
Mama
doing.
Moo, give me the crown.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give Mistress that she did like a weird spoken word thing, but still not. It's still lip sync, right? Talking about herself, and just call it that. Let's just call it that. Let's just stop pretending that there's any talent show, that there's any kind of talent. And I've said this before in case our new sloppy seconds people. Yes, I've even written a Substack about this actually. Yes, obviously, being a drag artist is a talent. Okay. And so they shouldn't even have a talent show. That is the talent, right?
Right.
And the comparison I've made before, and I'll make it again, it's like if Top Chef, for whatever reason, decided to have a talent show, and then every contestant went on there and their talent was cooking. Well, you'd be like, well, that's just what the show is.
Right.
Okay. So I'm not faulting, and I'm not faulting the girls here. It takes a lot of talent to do what they do. But the show is already a talent show for people who do drag. So if you're going like, well, my talent show, I'm going to go on there and do drag, well, then it's just weird. It's like having a chicken omelet. It is.
Yeah.
Do they have chicken omelets?
I don't think so. Probably.
Why does that sound so gross?
It does kind of sound gross. But we might have just fallen into $1 million idea.
No. So the point is like that's already there. So let's just stop. Let's just stop with the talent show. Let's just stop. Okay. And we'll just call it something else. And that's it. That's my big takeaway. That just stop calling it this. They're just going to go on there and do these pre-produced tracks. And now then we stop calling it a talent show. Then we can start talking about the different kinds of tracks that work. And I'll be honest with you, everybody, I've already given up. So now my critiques are more, I've just decided myself that this is the Tournament of All-Stars self-aggrandizing title competition. And how did they perform in that? And that's how I'm going to judge it. And that's my big takeaway. And on that note, while you relax in the Taylor the Latte Boy Lounge, Taylor and I will discuss the rest of the episode. All right, moving on. Let's go to this talent show. Again, they were all, for the most part, I do have my notes here on this. Just tracks talking about how rad they are.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor, let's start with Aja. Any news on Aja?
Aja, I thought could have been her track or her performance could have been slightly better if it wasn't for the song with all of the weird screeching noises. I think that was like, we were all kind of like wincing in the pool when it was doing that. And in that regards, I was not necessarily a fan. She kept talking about the whole machete thing. Girl, I could cut my leg off that. It was a plastic machete. I don't know. I don't know who she thought she was fooling. Like nobody thought somebody handed her an actual, bladed, sharply bladed machete, but it was okay. I don't think it deserved to be in the bottom, but it was just okay.
Yeah, I just put meh. It was fine. It was my note. It was fine. It was what it was. Good way to open it, actually. A good way to set the palette. Next we had Bosco.
I liked Bosco.
She did like a sort of like a burlesque number.
Yeah, like a burlesque number where that had comedic aspects to it. And I believe she's the one in the episode that said, the idea of this is to really kind of boil your brand down into a minute. And I feel like she did that. I feel like she was able to, she's a burlesque dancer. She's a comedian. She's a gymnast. She's all of these different things. And I thought it was a great moment.
All right. Very good. I thought it was, I don't want to call it great. I thought it was good. I was very happy that it was something a little bit different, that it wasn't the same club mix song kind of thing that we see all the time. And I was like, okay, this is different. It's good. Next we had Diabetti.
Well, speaking of that was what hers was, but I liked the performance. I don't think we've seen Dia do a performance like this before. I can't remember a time where we've seen her with the dancing and the lip syncing and all of that. And in that regards, I enjoyed it.
I was bored. I'm sick of this thing where Diabetti keeps thinking she's punk.
Yeah.
Because she jumps up and down and she wears a short wig.
I didn't get the punk reference to that. It just sort of seemed like it was an office setting, which, by the way, we were all foaming at the mouth for this one dancer that had the mustache.
I think a lot of people were. I don't remember him. This is one of those things we're taking notes. I will be honest with you. I didn't watch this 2 times.
Okay.
So I didn't notice the second time, but maybe I was taking notes. All right. Next we have Ginger Minge. Who did basically a take on Rose's turn, but it was more like Gypsy's turn.
And I thought it was very Ginger. I thought she did a great job. It wasn't anything groundbreaking from her, but it was excellent.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was, again, another really fresh take on this type of song. I was really impressed. I wasn't ready to be impressed by Ginger, and I was pretty impressed. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Irene, the alien, what did she do?
Better than she did the last time. I actually really liked it. I thought it was fun where we're making fun of ourselves in a way that I think spoke to who she is in her brand. The moment with the ventriloquism was actually pretty funny. And I thought that she did great. I just wish she had done something when she turned the thing over, the painting over, and it was a glass of water. I wish there had been some extra thing as far as the protect queer art from Megami from 2 seasons ago. Like she had kind of made a little fun of that. I thought that would have been like a good cherry on the top of that. But otherwise it was a pretty good showing.
Yeah, I said, same old track but fun. Georges, your take there. She did typical just Georges kind of thing.
I don't get why she was in the top. If anything, we were saying that we thought she was going to be in the bottom because it is the same old, and it just seemed like her dance moves were sloppy. It didn't have. It just wasn't. It wasn't up to what you expect from a Georges dance number.
I don't know. I think I thought it was safe at best. I mean, we've just seen this before. We've seen all these moves before. We've seen all these stunts before. Same old stunt show. Lydia B. Collins. This is a weird one. This is where she was like an Humpty Dumpty and an egg. What was your take on this one?
I think, what did she, oh, that's right. They said she did a puppet show for her original show. It was weird. It didn't necessarily, I think, well, it clearly didn't go the way she wanted it to, but I think just the idea behind it didn't necessarily do what it was supposed to do. I didn't realize she talked about in Tuck that the one pant leg came down, so that she was in her head. It was so weird. I didn't even notice the one pant leg came down. I think she was trying to do something very similar to what Willow Pill did in her talent show on her season, and it just failed. It just was. It just wasn't good. That's really the only way to describe it.
First of all, I never liked Willow Pills. It was so berated, so RuPaul wanting to be seen as hip and cool. I didn't think it was that good. I loved it. I loved it so much. I thought it was so kooky, so weird. I loved every second of it.
Okay. Now, did you love it because it was a train wreck? Or did you love it because...
I didn't think it was a train wreck. I don't like that this show thinks that everything has to go like so super smoothly. So if there's one little snag, if there's one little welcome, then all of a sudden it's horrible, you know? And I'm like, she just had like a little thing that snagged a bit. Like, oh, like, okay, things snag sometimes. She handled it. Mistress Isabelle Brooks, she did like a spoken word lip sync about Ruzempic, about how she lost all this weight.
Okay. I'm trying not to go into this just because I am not a fan of hers by saying it was horrible because she's Mistress. It was just horrible because it wasn't... What was the point? There was no comedy. There was no jokes. There was no...
Well, she thinks it's just funny and rad that she's thin and she's saying this. And it's one of these things where you have this one joke and the joke is that it's called Ruzempic and then you have nowhere to go.
Right.
It was like when that one girl played the
Rosa Parks
and the bus still running.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now it's time for the looks. The theme was foiled again. Taylor.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on these looks?
Bosco looked incredible. I hated Georgis's looks. And Mistress was a mess. Bosco, my two favorite looks were Bosco and Lydia. Bosco had on an outfit that was very Marilyn Monroe-esque, with this beautiful silver metallic, kind of came to the chest came to a point, and she had the great Marilyn Monroe hair and the big coat, and Lydia came out in an outfit that was very like xenomorph from Aliens, very detailed, very metallic, very intricate, and those were my two favorite. Georgis, and I thought Georgis and Mistress were probably two of the worst. Oh, and I loved Irene's. The idea of Irene's with Irene had fake arms in front of her. She was supposed to be sort of like a female warrior, and she had her arms in the wings, so it made the wings move and flap. Very cool, very, very ingenious, and those were my three favorites. I can't tell you what Aja wore. I don't remember. Diabetes had on an outfit that was like duct tape, like a duct tape outfit, and that was kind of cool, but it was all right.
Well, I think the complaint about Aja's was that it was so been done before, even the headpiece, that it was like unremarkable.
Okay, yeah. Well, then that explains why I don't remember Aja's, because it's something that we have seen a million times before. But I know I was just all over the place, but I just kind of figured I would do it all in a quick 60-second roundup.
I appreciate it. People won't know this after the edit, but there were some major technical difficulties throughout this episode. All right. Well, on that note, Taylor the Latte Boy, bring back my girls. All right, back on the main stage, Bosco is named the winner of the challenge, while Mistress Isabelle Brooks and Lydia B. Collins are placed in the bottom two, forcing them to face off in a lip-sync battle for their lives. The song, Guess by Charlie XCX and featuring Billie Eilish. In the end, Lydia B. Collins lived to see another day, while Mistress Isabelle Brooks was asked to sashay away. But wait. Just after the girls left the main stage, Angeria, Urbosa, Paris, and Michaels graced the main stage and revealed that the judges had revealed their picks for the drawing to see who would return to the competition. T.S. Madison chose Carrie Colby, Michelle Visage chose Carrie Colby, and Ross Matthews chose Mistress Isabelle Brooks. Bruno pulled the winning name, and the name will be revealed on the next episode. Taylor Latte Boy, any final thoughts on this episode?
No, not really. I think that we really kind of exhausted everything there was to talk about.
And look, here's the deal, and I talked about this off the air, but I think it's a good thing, is I'm exhausted. I finally, after doing this show every week for the most part since the beginning of January, I told Taylor, I feel very lucky that the exhaustion has barely hit me this week. And I think what's good is there's not much work to do for a lip sync extravaganza. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
I can every time we have one of those episodes, it's actually a fun episode for me because I can just enjoy the show.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to keep track of drama and this and that and yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. I don't think there'll be much drama because it's mostly going to be lip syncs. And so it lets me enjoy the show. So I think next week will be a great way to end, these two seasons. So I think it's good that the exhaustion, it kind of reminds me, this is something that happened to me this week. I was on my way to work and I got a flat tire. But in a weird twist of events, Taylor, the flat tire happened as I was driving into the parking lot.
Oh.
So I just drove 30 feet into a parking spot. And I was like, oh, and then I called AAA. They took it to a place and I had it fixed. It's the same thing here. I've gotten the flat tire, but it's right as we're going into the parking spot.
Okay, we have talked all season about the fact that we have enjoyed this format, that it's these little baby seasons that they kind of mushed all together. And why do you think that because you and I are both a little low energy today. I think that's pretty safe to say. And what is it about now when you figure, is it because now it feels like we've done 4 seasons all condensed? Is it because it's a larger group of girls that we need to keep track of? Is it we're seeing the machinations a lot easier than maybe we were, so it's sort of jading us? Like, why do you think that is?
I think you kind of hit it. I think bracket 3 really exhausted us, really drained our energy because we were like, we're covering the show and now almost like Mistress Isabelle Brooks, we're like, oh, what's the point?
Yeah.
Brackets 1 and 2 were so exciting. We didn't know what was going to happen week to week. And then episode 1 of bracket 3 happens and we're like, oh, Ginger just won a fucking design challenge. We see where this is going. And episodes 2 and 3 really lived up to that. And I think they're like, oh, the surprise, the fun was all gone. And then she comes on and she wins the snatch game. And so now you're like, and then Mistress, what the stunts she pulled on bracket 2, they were fun because they came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then we see them again and it's just okay, we're tired. We've seen this,
Yeah.
And we're just like, okay, you're not offering anything new. And that's why next week will be kind of fun. It'll just be lip syncs.
So what happens if Ginger doesn't win next week?
That's fine.
I know, but it's, I mean, it doesn't affect us one way or the other. The season's over. But I just wonder if I would just be very surprised. And I don't even know if it would be pleasantly surprised at this point.
No,
if
I'd be upset.
If at the last minute, because we were talking in the pool last night and somebody was saying that, oh, well, it's a lip sync. So Georges is going to win. And we're like, the way that they've been talking this whole season. And to which he goes, when have you ever seen Ginger do a great lip sync? So I think that even if Ginger does, unless they're going to suddenly where Ginger always gets show tunes or something like that. I mean,
they did it with All Star 7. How is Jinx winning a lip sync extravaganza eleganza for the crown?
Yeah, no, that's true.
They
Especially
don't care.
when everybody.
Ginger won a design challenge. They
I know.
don't care.
I just want to feel some genuine.
And that was the thing, is we thought, oh, they care. And they don't. They just don't care. They're going to do what they're going to do. Someone pointed out, and this is not wrong, that every All-Stars, for the most part, has been a sort of consolation prize. Chad Michaels, Alaska, even from the very beginning. They said Trixie. I don't think it was supposed to be a consolation prize for Trixie. I think it was supposed to be a consolation prize for Shangela, and then it went south. I think All Stars 4. I don't know who won that. All Stars 5. Shay. Consolation prize. All Stars 4 was the tie between Monet and Trinity. Consolation prize. Very consolation prize, because Trinity, and everybody knows, I'm not going to say it's controversial, but Trinity was going to win that season, and then George Floyd got murdered and Black Lives Matter, and they're like, oh, we got to give it to a black person. And I'm not saying that in a weird way. I think that's just what the feeling was in the country, is there's this feeling right now that black people are being suppressed, and there's a show we taped months ago where a black person's not going to win. So we had to ameliorate that, okay? I'm not making a judgment call as to the way it was. All-Star 6 was this Kylie Sonique Love. I don't think that was a consolation prize. I think that was one where they were genuinely surprised. I don't know. Oh, it wasn't Ginger on that?
Ginger was on that one.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the consolation prize for Ginger. Yeah. And then All-Star 7, that was just give Jinx another fucking crown. All-Stars 8 was Jimbo consolation prize. All-Stars 9 was Angeria Paris Van Michaels. I guess constantly. Who cares about All Stars?
No, because
9?
Roxy was part of that season.
Oh yeah, there are these weird times where that was supposed to be a consolation prize and it doesn't happen. I think if you're gonna get the consolation prize, you kind of have to meet them halfway and deliver. Even though Roxy did okay, right or no?
Roxy did great.
Yeah,
Roxy did great until the very end, and then the last lip sync was subpar.
Well, I think the storyline changed where Angeria became sort of an underdog, and they thought storyline wise it was better to give it to Angeria. All right, guys. Well, on that note, why don't we call it a day there? That's going to do it for this week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. Be sure to join us next week and every week as we continue to discuss, dissect, and deconstruct each brand new episode of, the season finale of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 10. So for Taylor the Latte Boy and myself,
sashay away until next week.
Thank you for listening to Drag Race Recap. Have something to say? Leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/afterthoughtmedia. You can also email us at dragracerecap@afterthought.media. For more Drag Race and LGBTQ+ content, support us over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. This podcast was produced by Luke Stamen. You can follow Nathan Brown over on Instagram at NathanBrown90. Follow Joe Batance on Instagram at Joe Batance. Special thanks to these expensive tier Patreon supporters: April Pacheco, Astute Girl, Brad Coley, Coco San Pedro, Derek Byers, Doofus Maximus, E. Smith, Efren Barbosa, Phil Skit Pony, Flying Suki, Humble Pie, J. Thomas Plank, Kathy Zender, Katie Whitmire, Lauren Eckert, Lucy Carrasco, Mary S., Mike Yeager, Nikki Baker, Nikki Pettit, Polly Anne Marie, Poppy Woods, Ricardo Herrera, Runner Brandon, Sarah Yu, Tom Bobbs, Travi Cosmos, and Troy Anderson. Drag Race Recap is an Afterthought Media podcast.